Proceed with just what you're doing, getting breakfast and finding a seat with some old friends. John?
Our Father, we pause to give you thanks for so many blessings of this life, but especially this morning for the purpose that we're gathered here, to celebrate the founding of a great university. We're indebted to you for those of us who have been able to physically be a part of this institution. We're grateful for the health that we enjoy. We ask you to continue to bless us as we, again, recognize the significance of contributions of all of these to Morehead State University. And we thank you again and ask you to bless this food. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please carry on.
Randy, if you want that in, and I want
I think I forgot a pretty good chance. This is still 50-50.
So you'd like to hold on.
Pretty good. John, how you doing? Two plates?
One for mother.
2 plates?
He's curious mother.
No, he's not
Come
either.
on.
You'll be lucky because we get to see the here.
Yes, that.
I'll just take the bowl.
Randy, can we bring out one fruit melon?
Good. Good. Weather was lousy, but it was the meeting was great. Speakers here were good. Heard Margaret Thatcher, Peter Uberoth, and it was we get to see part of burned out LA. We drove down in daylight. Breakfast.
That's all I can ask.
I'm not a breakfast eater. I may have I'm traveling, normally not.
Well, that was a big update. I guess we're going to have more involvement, I guess.
Only the best stuff.
If you feel like you need to. If you feel like you need
Some days we can
I think it's cute.
but I come a better part of it. I'm from a little town called
That's right. It didn't happen on your watch, but you got it.
I left a few behind.
That unmatched visitor to the jail.
Oh, is that right?
You couldn't remember my name.
Isn't that offensive? Part of the question. Name in the paper?
All of them.
Get a correction.
Hey, you think we'll demand a correction or a retraction on that? John Billy's offended. You didn't put his name on.
Bill Sims was quoted in the national magazine.
We're out of biscuits. We're out of biscuits.
They're coming. They're on their way.
Saying that he lied to the name on that. So I called him. Yeah, hey, I said, Bill, I knew you.
Cheese grit.
He said, don't be
This is always a special day, and it's even more special today to have Dr. Nolan Fowler with us. It's been a few years since he's been on the campus. Professor, Coach, we're glad to have you back. For those of you who have not had a chance to meet our new president and his wife, Ron and Bonnie Eaglin, They will be around for a few minutes afterwards. Make sure you introduce yourself. We're going to call on President Eaglin right now to give you the official welcome. President.
Good morning. Good morning. I know you're retired, but it is. I'd like to introduce my wife, Bonnie. Some of you have not seen her. We've been here 9 months, and it seems like it's been 2 days. It's been an exciting 9 months for us, and a kind of a new adventure for us. I look around the room and I ask myself, why at my age am I starting all over again? Because we're seeing people now here retire who are younger than me, which is a little bit discouraging, because I have to look at another 15 years maybe or more before I can. Let me tell you a few things if I might. I know I got the microphone, so it gives me an opportunity to say something to you. I have really been trying to learn as much as I can about this wonderful university that you served so many years. I don't know how many collective years we would have here, but it would be a tremendous number, I know. We put about 9,000 miles on an automobile since I've gotten here, and most of that's really been since October. I've met with many of alums. As a matter of fact, we are meeting regularly now with a group of about 140 alums that we've identified as what we're calling presidential focus groups. And part of the exercise that we do the first time we meet is I ask each one of them if they would share with the rest 1 or 2 people who really made a difference in their life while they were at Moorhead. And then say a little bit about that. And it's amazing the warmth that is out there in terms of what you all have accomplished in your work life at this institution. And Dr. Fowler, I'm glad to meet you because you were named at the last one and had a very, very significant impact on a young woman's life in terms of decisions that she made. And I know that sometimes you don't get that kind of feedback, but it's out there. Let me also tell you that Bonnie and I will work as hard as we can to continue the fine tradition of this institution. We are re-emerging, if you will, in terms of taking our place as a state regional university in the state of Kentucky. This institution has always been known for its warmth and its care. And whenever I speak to people in the region, that's the one thing they do remember about us. It was a place that made a significant difference in terms of its warmth and how people took the extra step to be helpful to them. We're not going to lose that. We have gotten bigger, and it has changed, and some of you haven't been back for years. But that main value will stay. But also, the young people that come here and the older ones who come to us now are people who are going to go into a world that was quite different than the one that you and I have entered into when we were first coming out of college. The challenges that face them, the world competitiveness, etc., is one that we have to prepare them for. And we will be placing a great deal of emphasis on our faculty to stay up in their disciplines. Continuous scholarship is really something that has to happen if we're to teach the right things in the right way. And also, this area needs us so badly. We are a very unique institution. As a matter of fact, one goal that I have is to try to convince the government that we should really be funded differently than the other state regional universities, because of the mission that we do have in serving Eastern Kentucky. As much as you have seen improvement in Eastern Kentucky, there's still a long way to go. And it's going to take a great effort by our congressional delegation, our state legislation group, our faculty, our staff, and really the use of all of our abilities to help Eastern Kentucky move in a positive way of preserving the quality of life and ensure that our young people have jobs to go to when they graduate from here. So organizing our public service is a very important goal that I have for this institution. Let me also say to you that we hope that as Bonnie and I continue our work here, that you're proud of what we do, that you will tell us if we're doing things that maybe need to be changed, and that you stay as positive as you are now in your feelings about this institution as years go on. I'm exceptionally pleased to welcome you here this morning. It's a great group, and I hope that all of you will at least take a time to meet us if you haven't already at the end of this particular ceremony. Thank you.
I'm going to move the podium out of the way because we're going to hand out some retirement pins, take some photographs, and we don't need this in the picture. Thank you, Fred. I know you would. Lead by example, right? Let me explain the ground rules. We have found that the early retirement program has kind of complicated what we try to do at this breakfast each year in terms of recognizing the people who have retired in the past 12 months. And we've had a little overlap the last 2 years. What we are trying to do, and Betty Philly will be up here to help us, and the president will make the presentation, is we want to recognize people whose retirement has taken effect from April 1st through March 31, the previous 12 months. Now, we realize for a year or so we're going to have some overlap because some folks decide early that they're going to retire in June, and we recognize a few last year whose retirement didn't take effect until the summer or fall. So bear with us. Now I've prefaced all that with an explanation. Now, if you retired earlier than the last 12 months and don't have a retirement pin for whatever reason, then I'm sure it's our fault because we did sort of confuse ourselves. If you retired more than 12 months ago and don't have a retirement pin, would you identify yourself, please? Do we have anybody? Well, Betty, we may be doing better than we thought. Okay, well, that's great. If you have lost your retirement pin, we'd be happy to replace it for you. We want you to wear it with pride, okay? All right. Now, Charlie, are you allowed to wear your retirement pin on the Lee's campus? Knowing you, Charlie, you being the president, I say you can do whatever you want to do there. Yes, Betty, if you'd come up, please. Betty Philly, who will be our first retiree to be recognized so she can stay up here and help me. Betty is on the early retirement program too, and one of her primary responsibilities is going to be to keep in touch with you and maintain our communications program. She's based in the Palmer House. I want you to keep in touch. Okay, we've identified 7 people that we know retired, whose retirement took effect in the last 12 months, and we hope you're here. President, if you would come up, please. The first presentation will be to Betty Philly. She retired with 15 years of service, but we're still counting because we haven't let her quit totally yet. I guess from a protocol standpoint, and also our senior person who retired from here with 28 years service to go do some very noble work at his alma mater, Lee's College, the president of Lee's College, Dr. Charles Derrickson. Charles?
Both presidents will have to smile.
With 27 years service, Dr. Larry Griesinger. 26 years service, a man who said he really didn't need his knee replacement because he could beat Sonny Allen with one good knee, Dr. Don Miller.
What I want to know is why my wife is been around taking pictures of the president. I'm retired, heck, it doesn't help me.
21 years service, Regina Stone. I told her that this number couldn't be right, but she told me it is. 20 years service, Doris Wells. Mickey is a lot older. Years service, Beulah Witt. We weren't sure she could make it this morning. Okay. Is Mr. Boyd here? Did Chester Boyd make it? Mr. Catron, Thomas Catron. Oh, okay, excuse me, Thomas overlooked you. Have we missed anybody? Thank you very much. We've given you a copy of the day's program. We hope your schedule is such that you'll be able to stay with us for as many of the activities as possible. Before we adjourn here so you can socialize, let me recognize Jim Powell, who is chair of our Founders Day Committee this year. Jim, we appreciate your good help. Again, the Eaglins will be available for a few minutes. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you for coming.
He is very pleased that you are here to help us celebrate the 71st birthday of Morehead State University. We're pleased that you are participating in this part of the program and hope that you will be with us for the rest of the day as well. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the MSU Chamber Singers under the direction of Professor James Ross Bean. They will give two renditions. They will lead us in the alma mater, and they will also offer an additional selection. So at this time, I'd invite you to stand for the singing of the alma mater. You may be seated for the second selection.
Oh,
Thank you, Professor Bean, and your MSU Chamber Singers. Ronald G. Eaglin joined Morehead State University on July 1, 1992, as our president. The past few months, 9 months, have been, I'm sure, very rapid ones for him, full of much activity for him and learning more and more about the university on a daily basis. It is genuinely my opinion that this institution is in very good hands under the leadership of Ronald G. Eaglin. I think that opinion is indeed shared by many, many people across this campus and across eastern Kentucky, particularly those who have come to know him better and better. He brings to the university a style of high energy, lots of enthusiasm, a very dynamic individual. He has many fresh, new ideas, and he's already making his mark on this institution. So now it is my pleasure to introduce to you President Eaglin for your greeting.
Thank you, John, and good morning. Well, it's not sunshiny out, is it? But I'd much rather have it snow than be raining at the moment. At least you can brush it off. It's my pleasure to welcome you here today to this important day in the life of Morehead State University. Our first order of business will be a quick history lesson, if you will. In your program, if you'll look on the back side, one of the things that interested Bonnie and me in terms of making our decision to come here and change our life is the rich history of this institution. Actually, this institution has been here over 106 years, and it's really been over 71 years ago that it became a state-supported institution. Had the opportunity this morning to meet with our retired faculty and staff members, and how proud they must feel as they can look at it over a longer period of time in terms of how this institution has changed. This institution has been blessed with a wonderful faculty and staff over many years, and as I've learned more about the region, as I've traveled trying to meet alumni and those who can be helpful to this institution, the one issue that keeps coming forth is what a wonderful place and what a wonderful experience they had at this institution, and I think that's a testimony to them and those others who have served this place over these past 100 years. We have over 40,000 alumni spread throughout not only Kentucky but all over the world, and I had the opportunity to talk with a few of them, and they indicated to me in the conversations they always had a fond memory of someone who changed their lives and to help them become the adult and the productive citizens that they are. And again, that's testimony to the fine folks who have served this institution. Although Bonnie and I are still relatively new to Kentucky and to this institution, we're well aware of the traditions of good teaching and a concern for the individual, which are perhaps the most valuable legacies of this university. It's from this base that Bonnie and I are dedicating ourselves to the reemergence of this institution as a state regional university dedicated to serve eastern Kentucky. And we plan to do that with the help of this faculty and those who will support us and those who have supported us in the past through excellent teaching and continue that tradition, continuous scholarship to make sure we're teaching the right things, and really to organize our public service so that we can be truly a help and an aid to the many issues that face eastern Kentucky. Today we gather to celebrate our rich past and to look hopefully to what we know will be a bright future. We're honored that so many of our special friends have joined us for this really birthday party. Now, there are many fine people up here on the platform, but others will introduce them later. But it's my distinct pleasure to at least draw attention to a few who have come today to show their respect for those that we are honoring. We do have two members of our Board of Regents. One I will pass on because he will be introduced, but Chando Mapoma, I will not. Chando, where are you? I saw you earlier. Please stand. Chando is the president of our Student Government Association and the Student Region. There are several other special guests. Without their help and without their continued interest, and many like them, this institution would not be where it is today. Some of these who have been able to attend and are here today, I'd like for them to stand and remain standing, and then let us show our appreciation to all. First, State Senator Walter Blevins of West Liberty, State Representative John Stacy of West Liberty, and State Representative Adrian Dorn. I'm sorry, you know, I know that you like that, Adrian. Adrian Arnold of Mount Sterling. Thank you, gentlemen. I have been told that Adrian Dorn stays in your mind, and I have just proven that point. But Adrian Arnold, thank you so much. Also, we have another special guest with us from Frankfurt today, representing the Council on Higher Education, Debbie McGuffey. Debbie? Debbie is the Director of Governmental Affairs for the Council on Higher Education. One of the highlights of Founders Day each year is a presentation of the University Service Award, and we are pleased today to have 4 previous recipients and family members representing 2 others who have passed on. If they would, as I call their names, please stand, and if you would hold your applause until all are standing. First, the 1983 recipient, Mr. Monroe Wicker. Secondly, from 1989, Mr. John Collis. The 1991 winner, Dr. Roscoe Playforth. And from last year, Dr. Mary Northcutt Powell. And representing the 1979 recipient, the late Linus Fair, are 2 of his daughters, Nell Mahaney and Merle Allen. And also here today for the 1988 winner, the late George T. Young, his brother, Preston Young. Please, let's show our appreciation to these folks. Also, I would like to introduce my wife, Bonnie. Many of you have not met her, and all the rest of the friends and family of the platform party, if you would please rise. First, Bonnie, you stand up first so they can see you, then everybody else kind of stand up, the friends and relatives of the platform party. At this point, I am pleased to invite the student alumni ambassador to come to the front of the auditorium to make a special presentation. Speaking for the group will be their president, Angie Daner. Angie?
On behalf of the Student Alumni Ambassadors, we'd like to present to you, Dr. Eglin, and the rest of the university, the giant birthday card. And at this time, we'd like to invite you to complete our birthday card with your signature.
They didn't tell me this was going to happen here. All right. I have a place on my mantle that I can place this. That's great. Where do you want to get this done? Anyway, well, they can't see the signature. You guys can go. Turn around here and let's see the signature. These are all students who have placed their name on this, and I think that's great that they would take their time to do this, and I'm proud to sign it. We're most appreciative of the work of the student ambassadors. I had the opportunity to meet with them at the beginning of the year. They are fine representatives of this institution, and I know you all are proud of the work they do, and my congratulations to the Alumni Association who really sponsor this fine group. I didn't know that was going to happen. They just sat here, introduced them, and I didn't know what was going to occur from that point on. Well, I've lost my place. I've gotten so excited. Do y'all know a hum, or you can hum a song or something while the president finds out where he's supposed to be in terms of the schedule? Yes, that's what I'm supposed to do, but I can't find the introduction. No, I'm going to do it. I'll just ad-lib it. I had a real nice introduction written out for Sonny, but I'm going to do it on my own. When I decided to take this position, and it was a hard decision, Bonnie and I know. We thought, like anyone else who are going to change their life after 18 years being in one place and seeing your children grow up in that place, and they call that place home. It was a real tough decision for us to make. But really what made it easy are the numbers of people that we met. And among that group is what I think is one of the finest representatives of this institution. That's all right, I don't need that anymore. Of this institution. Now, I could tell you a lot about him that's written on that sheet of paper that I forgot. I do know that he manages a large farm in central Kentucky. But one thing occurred when I first met him and his wonderful wife. It was way back, and he doesn't remember this, but it was about February a year ago, and we were sitting in a nice restaurant, really, over in Lexington. And Bonnie came home afterward, and she was so impressed with this particular couple. I knew that I had an easy choice to make, because she said, Ron, if all the people are like them, we'll be going home again. So Sonny, he also has many awards in terms of being an alum of this institution. He is now the president of our Alumni Association, which happened on July 1 of this year. But at that same time, he was appointed by Brereton Jones to serve on our Board of Regents. And I'm pleased that he has assumed that responsibility, and I welcome him as a friend and as a colleague and as a leader of this institution, Sonny Jones.
I'll do the best I can not to lose my place here. Thank you, Dr. Eaglin. I'm pleased and proud to be here today to speak for the Board of Regents and adding another distinguished name to the 15 who have previously been receivers of the Founders Day Award for University Service. At this time, I invite Mr. Steve May to join me at the podium on behalf of his father and our great friend, Senator Woody May, who cannot be with us today for health reasons. Before proceeding, I also want to recognize one of Woody's daughters, Karen, another son, Rick, Karen and another brother, John, are MSU alumni. Also with us is one of Woody's sisters, Edith Gunnell. Ms. Gunnell. The material in your program tells the facts and figures about Woody May's service in both houses of the Kentucky General Assembly. The university has had special friends in the state's legislature since the days of Senator Allie Young, but few have compared with the loyalty and service we received from the man from Woods Bend. He was a successful farmer and businessman who worked hard and did not have the opportunity of going to college himself. But Woody May clearly realized the priceless value of public higher education to the people of his district and their neighbors in East Kentucky. His list of good works on behalf of Morehead State University is much too long to recite here today. He helped us with operating budgets and capital construction projects and many other financial matters, and he was always ready, willing, and able to speak for us in our relations with other state agencies. He helped our students and our faculty and staff and our alumni and our communities. We have two of his best friends here with us today from the legislature to tell us more about him as an individual. At this point, it is my privilege on behalf of the Board of Regents and the entire Morehead State University family to present the 1993 Founders Day Award for University Service to the Honorable Woodford F. Woody May of Woodsbend, Kentucky. Steve, please give this to your father with our warmest regards.
Thank you, Sonny. We appreciate this very much, and I will give it to my father with great respect. Thank you.
With us today to respond on behalf of the family also is one of Woody May's closest personal friends and a distinguished public servant in his own right. He was President Pro Tem of the Kentucky Senate for many years and most recently served as Secretary of Finance in Governor Jones' cabinet. He now is a senior advisor in the governor's office. Please greet with me the Honorable Joseph W. Prather of Vine Grove.
Thank you so very much, Sonny, and I can't think of any place that I would rather be than to be here with you today to honor one of my very dearest friends. And I know when I talked to Keith Capus about my coming, and I talked to Grover Frederick, who's like a brother to Woody May, and he and his wife Juanita and Barrett are here today, I was excited about the possibility of coming back to Moorhead. You know, my family and Senator Woody May's family have really grown to be close over so many years, dating back to the first time that I came to the General Assembly in 1968, when Woody and I were roommates then, going back to then, and then the last few years before I left the General Assembly at the end of 1986 for many years again, he and I shared living accommodations in Frankfort. And I came to know him. I came to know one of the finest ladies I've ever met in Jean May, and their wonderful children and their family. They were close-knit, as my family is, and it made me proud to be a part of the May family and to visit them on many occasions on Grassy Creek. So with all that in mind, it does come as a great honor to me to be able to, along with Steve, to speak on behalf of the May family, to say that you couldn't bestow any honor upon Woody May that would mean more to him than the honor that you have bestowed upon him today. I know that forefront in his mind and forefront in the efforts that he made in Frankfort was the well-being of Moorhead State University. He has traveled to my office when I was President Pro Tem on many occasions, and many times he would have people like you, Keith, in tow saying, we want something for Moorhead State University. He believed that this university added so very much to the quality of life in this region, that it meant so much to those peoples that he represented. He did an excellent job of representing you, and I'm happy to see that you've honored him today. So on behalf of Joe Prather and the Prather family, and especially on behalf of Senator Woody May and the May family, we say today that we're all honored and we're proud that you have given Woody May this recognition. Thank you so much.
Speaking today for the Kentucky State Senate and Woody's other friends in the General Assembly is the first legislator to serve as President of the Senate. Last year's constitutional changes renamed his office from President Pro Tem to President as he replaced the Lieutenant Governor of the presiding officer of the State Senate. He also has a special relationship with our honoree, and quickly stepped forth to provide personal assistance to the university in the aftermath of Woody's illness. He represents part of our service region and has always been one of our strongest friends in Frankfort. Please welcome the President of the Kentucky Senate, the Honorable John Eck Rose of Winchester.
Thank you very much. It's certainly a pleasure for me to be here today, and I want to thank you for honoring my good friend Woody May. Also honored that you would have me as part of this ceremony. You know, the first time I went to Frankfurt after getting elected, I was walking down the hall there in the third floor before the session started. Excuse me. And a big teddy bear sort of a man came up to me and said, "Are you Eck Rose?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I am." And he said, "I'm Woody May." He said, "I wanted to meet you." And that was typical of Woody May. He never met a stranger. Make any difference if you were a professor or someone who had never been to school anywhere, Woody could talk to you, and you could relate to Woody. I'll tell you another thing about him. He could charm you as well as any person I've ever met in my life. With Woody, you would find yourself agreeing to things that you didn't intend to agree to. You know, the mark of a public official, in my judgment, is how effective they can be for their constituents. Because of his demeanor and his personality and his hard work and his ability, Woody May, in my judgment, was extremely effective, and as effective as anybody I've ever known in Frankfurt. Woody could get along with anybody, and if you had a problem with Woody May, I think about 99% of the time it was probably your problem and not Woody May's problem, because that's the kind of person Woody May is. You know, we've been told to turn the other cheek in life, and I know of no person that exemplifies that better than Woody May does. Because time and time again I saw him do that, and Woody May knew that you can't be successful in the General Assembly and that you can't be successful in life if you're going to spend your time and energy holding grudges and trying to get even with other people. Time and time again I've seen Woody help those people that had not been fair to him and that who had not tried to help him. But Woody knew that there were other ways to gain the respect of those people and to do the things that needed to be done. Furthermore, Woody May, in his tenure there in the legislature, was a peacemaker. He was a peacemaker between other legislators. I've seen it time and time again, as I'm sure that Senator Prather has. Woody May diffused a potentially explosive situation, and he could do that. He was a peacemaker in his tenure there between the House and the Senate, and yes, between Democratic leadership and governors. And he's to be commended for his service with regard to being able to do that. Woody May loves this part of eastern Kentucky. There's three things that Woody concentrated on, excuse me, when he was in the legislature. One of them was jobs for his constituents. The other was roads and projects for his district. And above all else, as Secretary Prather mentioned, Morehead State University. When the budget would come out, he would immediately come and see what was in it for Morehead State University. And time again, he would remind me, "Rose, you know, your people go to school there at Morehead University, and we need to help those people." He always checked to see that they were taken care of. You know, if you think by the things that I've said about Woody May here today that I'm big on his service there in the General Assembly, then you're exactly correct, because nobody, in my judgment, in their way, has been better in the General Assembly, been more effective in the General Assembly than Woody May. And if you think that he possibly might be a friend of mine, I can only say this, that no one has ever been a better friend of mine. And on behalf of the Kentucky State Senate, I want to commend you for honoring him in this way and let you know that we in the State Senate feel like that this person is indeed as worthy of this honor as anybody that you could ever select. You know, Woody May not only is my friend, but as Senator Prather told you, he has brought other friends that have become close to me, such as the Fredericks, that I very truly value, and the children and wife of Woody May have also been very fond friends of ours and continue to be, and hopefully will always be in the future. Thank you very much for having me here. I appreciate what you're doing for Woody May.
Thank you, Senators. I've learned a lot this morning, and I've learned a lot from your comments, and I wish I would have had the opportunity, and I still do have the opportunity to meet Mr. May, but I wish I would have been here in his vibrant years and to experience him as you have. The university is honored today to have one of its most prominent alumni as a featured speaker for Founders Day. In fact, today's speaker is our highest-ranking alumnus in government service and has held that distinction for several years. This Ashland native is an historic figure in Kentucky state government because he is the only person to be appointed state adjutant general by 3 different governors. He served 10 years in that post and retired from the military in 1987 at the rank of Major General. Today's program lists many of his achievements as the state's #1 soldier, and we are proud of his more than 30 years in the uniform of our state and country. But this man has also substantial credits as a civilian administrator. He served during the John Y. Brown administration as Justice Secretary and State Police Commissioner, and earned high marks for his management of 2 cabinet-level organizations. That service was not forgotten because Governor Jones appointed him to the same 2 posts upon taking office. I had the pleasure of becoming acquainted with him soon after moving to Kentucky last summer, and I was impressed by his wisdom, his integrity, and his great love for this institution and for Eastern Kentucky. He is a member of our Alumni Hall of Fame and has been recognized for his work on behalf of Easter Seals and other charitable causes. In addition to this institution, he is a graduate of the U.S. Army's Command Staff College and the War College. He is a man of courage and conviction who is proud to serve the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Please welcome the Secretary of Justice and Commissioner of Kentucky State Police, Major General Billy G. Wellman. Welcome home, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, President Eglin, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and friends of Morehead State University. I'm honored to be in your presence today to share with you on this most important occasion, the 71st anniversary of this educational institution that means so much to all of us. Each time I walk on the campus, I get a very warm feeling. My years at Morehead is a very special and important chapter in my life because it was a place where I found inner peace, security, and the opportunity to share life with people who cared about each other. When I was a student here, I think we had about 765 students, and it was a very close family, and we learned to share. I wish that I could express more adequately my in-depth feeling to the students here today about Morehead State University. But I know that that is not practical, so I only hope that the environment is as gratifying to the students here today as it was to me.
And that's why I have chosen to share with you a few moments on ethics and how it affects our society and our nation. You and I have the opportunity and the fortune to live in America. It's the greatest country on earth. It was founded on the morals, principles, and values of people who cared about each other. People who were willing to share the good times, the sacrifices, and to help friends and neighbors in need. Time marches on and waits for no man. We all enjoy progress, new technology, and the advancement of science that has changed the world. But I'm afraid that we have moved on and structured a new society without the foundation that made America great. Billy Graham once remarked, "America is not at the crossroads, as some may say. America is a long way down the wrong road. She needs to come back to the crossroads and take the right road." Today, the great threat to destroying society is corruption. And every day we see in the headlines or on TV stories and scenes of sleazy ethics, bribery, kickbacks, arson, vandalism, burglary, countless forms of dishonesty and violence. And what is worse is that we have come to tolerate it. We have come to accept the fact that if given a chance, too many Americans will cheat, whether they are students, chairman of the board, executives, or purchasing agents. We accept lies from the repairman, the salesman. We accept lies from government, and the corruption of politicians is so pervasive it has ceased to be a comedian's joke. But still we condone it all. Why do we tolerate all of these destructive acts? Well, first, many of us are personally involved and are profiting by dishonesty and corruption. And second, we are just plain weak. We are afraid to take courageous, positive steps to stop the raging rip-offs. And third, too many of us have no values other than money. A large number of us seem content in the belief that as long as we observe reasonable ethical standards, we do not need to feel responsible for the conduct of others. And finally, there are those of us who simply do not believe corruption is all that bad. We have lived with it so long, it is beginning to look all right. How sad. And how dangerous it is for the future of America. Without a strong foundation of ethics, laws cannot be effective. So much major crime happens as a result of our condoning and accepting minor dishonesty. Dishonesty is widespread. 42% of the people that complete an employment application lie. 50% of the educational qualifications that appear on their resumes are false. We are disillusioned by government, and we're distrustful of business. Without honesty, freedom is unsafe. Without freedom, it is unsafe to be honest. Do we really care? Do we understand the consequences? Do enough of us really care, or are we all waiting for the other fellow to do something? Most of us have never known the lack of freedom. And we do not understand that freedom is the strong from within and not without. Ethics is the lifeblood of a free society, and it can tolerate only so much adulteration. We are so guilty of giving someone else the responsibility we ourselves should fulfill. What is ethics? Philosophers have been approaching this question for hundreds, if not thousands, of years. But their seminars on ethics do not directly relate to what we hear and see on TV programs or in our daily newspapers. The news editors obviously feel that the public already knows what ethics are about or means. More than 86% of all people interviewed associated ethics with standards and rules of conduct, morals, right and wrong, values, and honesty. Thousands of books have been published on the subject of ethics. Scholars have spent their lifetime studying ethics. Our interest is not in the theories of ethics, which are endless, but in the everyday application of ethics, which is urgent. If earlier man had not identified his own welfare with that of others, he could not have survived and developed. One of the basic elements of ethics is the principles of cooperation and sharing. If you and I really care about this country and want to maintain and defend its freedom, we must not neglect our heritage and ethical principles. Lying is a social disease that may be endured in mild forms, but identified in epidemic stages. It can erupt and destroy the foundation of a free society. Too many people today do not consider lying dishonest. To them, dishonesty begins with stealing. And there is a significant number that do not consider stealing dishonest. When one steals from a large business, such as submitting false claims to insurance companies, or from the government, or from our employers, it is not considered dishonest. The honor system of paying taxes, which has been so effective, is now eroding noticeably. And failing to report cash income taken from various industries and services has been estimated at over $200 billion annually. And last year, business lost over $10 million as a result of theft from their employees. People claim they lie because they do not want to hurt someone's feelings by telling the truth. This is the most common lie. We think it's all right to lie anytime it benefits oneself or one's friends. If this standard was used by everyone, we would be in danger. When that happens, we won't be able to trust anyone, and life would be scarcely worth living for. There is not many forms of lying that the child has not figured out by the time he is in the 6th grade. And so often, adults fail to progress beyond the 6th grade level in their own reasons for lying. I believe there is seldom an occasion in an entire lifetime of a citizen living in a free country when he must lie to save his own life, his country, or his job. And if he must lie to save his job, he is working at the wrong place and for the wrong people. I recently read a book. It's titled The Death of Ethics in America by Cal Thomas. And I hope that you'll have the opportunity to read this book because it very eloquently describes the death of ethics in America and why all Americans should be concerned. America has remained strong and solvent because of our government, our trust in God, and our free enterprise system. But it is being challenged by men and women who are only dedicated to themselves. Our country is in danger without moral ethics and integrity. 3 major scandals draw our attention to unethical standards. A former senator and presidential candidate who alleged sexual relationship showed disregard for marriage and family, one of the most important institutions to the American people. Religious TV ministry has become as corrupt as every other institution. And the trading on Wall Street. All of these indicate to us that we do have a serious problem in America. As a nation, we face many problems. Theologian Carl F. Henry stated that our nation is in real trouble. But our basic problems are not economical or political. They are moral and spiritual. My reason for choosing this subject today is that life has been so good to me, and I owe so much to many people for their concern and their guidance. It is a time in life when I want to give something back to future generations, something that will continue to ensure a free and strong America. You see, all of us have the same opportunity. I believe that ethics can be taught, and I'm pleased that many educational institutions have begun to recognize this need. And I present to our president, the Board of Trustees, and the leadership of this university a challenge to include ethics in the curriculum of all degree programs. Many prestigious academic institutions have elevated the study of ethics to core course status in most degree programs. Our educational institutions must be able to certify that their graduates have the character and integrity to use the knowledge for the benefit rather than the abuse of society. I commend Governor Jones, President of the Senate Eck Rose, Speaker Joe Clark, and members of the General Assembly for the action that they have taken on the issue of ethics. I believe that we should have a commission on ethics to ensure that this subject is a continuing education program, not to enact more laws, but to keep this vital subject in the minds of all who have a position of leadership and trust. During the next 2 weeks, we will be celebrating the resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ. And during our prayers, I hope that you will take time to ask for His blessings on this nation, and that His divine guidance will help us restore the principles and the values, the morals and integrity that provide the foundation for this great country and its people. We owe so much to so many. It's great to live in America. It's our responsibility to protect it. Mr. President, I thank you and the members of this faculty for the invitation to be with you today. It's an honor, it's always a pleasure to come back to this campus, and particularly today when we honor a good friend, a great statesman, one that it means so much to this institution, Senator Woody May. Thank you so much.
General Wellman, we are so pleased that you accepted our invitation to come and participate in this program. Your very thoughtful remarks are, I think, equally appreciated. I would also tell you that I did note your curriculum challenge for us, and I will share that with the appropriate committees at a later time. Also, I would tell you that we are very, very pleased to include you among our many, many alumni. There are two other events today, a luncheon that follows immediately, and then, of course, this evening at 7 p.m. we have the Alumni Awards Banquet. I hope that you have made arrangements to attend both of those. Lest you be surprised when you turn around and look at the clock on the wall, I would tell you that the clock is sort of gearing up for the springing back or springing forward. I think it's springing forward, fall back. It's about 20 minutes fast, so we really have not gone overly long. But I do hope that you will support the rest of the activities for the day. Thank you for coming. We are adjourned.
I'd like to welcome you today to our Founders Day luncheon, where we celebrate the rich tradition of service and of giving to Fort State University. A celebration of service, a celebration of people, and a challenge to all to help cultivate friends for MSU. I ask you to enjoy your meal and the fellowship. First, we'll have our invocation. Our Heavenly Father, we pause in our celebration of Founders Day to acknowledge your presence and to recognize and give thanks for all those who have made contributions to this institution in the past, in service and in giving. To give thanks for those who are meeting the challenges today and ask your guidance for those who are preparing to serve in the future. The rich tradition and spirit and examples of service to MSU are a reflection of its mission to the region, service to the people. Father, we thank you for an enlightened environment where ideas flourish, opportunities open wide, and dreams abound. Where there is an awareness and spirit to keep trying to be better, to do better, and to make better. Father, may we never forget that people are the foundation of this institution. The traditions, the ideas, the challenges, and the dreams are taken up by people, living together and working together, facing the future together, and with your grace, making better together. Keep us eager as we face these challenges and humble when we face the cross. We have great expectations. By your will, they shall be fulfilled.
What is it, 8 o'clock tomorrow night? Around there. It's basically 30 minutes after the first game ends. Oh, okay. So it will depend on the first game.
Sponsored by the MSU Foundation and Fort State University. This occasion is for the specific purpose of thanking our generous alumni, other friends, businesses, organizations, other foundations who support the many activities of this university. It's my pleasure today as Director of Development and Executive Vice President of the Foundation to welcome you as this meeting proceeds. We have several important guests today I would like to introduce. First, I'll introduce the head table, and if you will hold your applause until I have completed my introductions. On my right is Mr. Larry Bannon, President of the MSU Foundation. Seated next to Larry is Mrs. Monty Eaglin, MSU's First Lady. On my left is Mr. Dan Lacey, representing the Ashland Oil Foundation, and who is Vice President of Corporate Communications for Ashland Oil and one of our alumni. Seated on Dan's left is Mrs. Barbara Fannin, one of the co-organizers of the Breckenridge School Reunion, which we think will bring some, perhaps 1,000 people to Moorhead in July 4th of this year. And seated next to Barbara is our president, Dr. Ron Eaglin, who we will hear from later in the program. Of course, we're very honored today to be saluting a great man, Woody May, as our Founders Day Award recipient for University Research. And we are fortunate to have three members of his family with us today, sons Stephen and Rick and sister Edith. Would they stand, please, and be recognized? We have several either former regents or current regents. Would you welcome them as I complete reading their names? Louis Sonny Jones, our current regent. Chando Lapoma, a former regent chairman, Jerry Howell Sr. of Jackson, Kentucky. Another former regent, Dr. John Duncan, and others that I might have missed. Would you join me in welcoming them? We have also President, one of our own, who is now President of Lee's College of Jackson, Kentucky, Dr. and Mrs. Charles Derrickson. Charlie? We're fortunate to have former Senate President Pro Tem Joe Prater with us today. Mr. Prater. We have State Senator Walter Blevins with us. We have State Representative John Stacy and State Representative Adrian Hart. We have Moorhead Mayor Larry Breeze with us today. Mayor. And finally, we have Chairman Jim Powell and the members of the Founders Day Committee, who I would like to salute. Would you all thank you? Just a couple others I want to make mention of. We were fortunate to have the services of the MSU Alumni Ambassador Club helping us today with the activities of the day. Thank you, Alumni Ambassadors. Later in the program, you will hear from two of our music faculty, Mr. Jay Flippin, Dr. Paul Taylor. I remember Paul having a pencil behind his ear earlier. It's like he was getting into his old class, but he removed the pencil now, so I was looking for the pencil. But we'll hear them later in the program and look forward to their presentation in a dual piano musical. I'll turn the program over now to President of the MSU Foundation, Larry Bannon.
At this time, we would like to salute two special friends of Moorhead State University. The first being the John T. and Adam Dieterich Educational Trust. This trust has awarded over $275,000 since 1987 to Moorhead State University students. Over 36 different students from Boyd, Greene, Lawrence, Martin, and Carter counties have benefited through these distinguished gifts. The Trust's chairman of its management committee, Judge H. David Hermsdorf, is here today with his wife Sally. We'd like for him to come forward for our recognition of this great MSU sport.
Thank you very much. Yes, I accept this plaque on behalf of all of the volunteer ladies and gentlemen in the education business who devote their time to make a unique trust work. If you have not heard of this, I'd like to say one thing about it. We give awards, not scholarships, to students with a grade point average between 2-point and 3-point. And the thing they must have is extraordinary character. We have an attrition rate of less than 10%, and we're in our 5th year now, and we have 3 or 4 students in graduate school. It's a pleasure for me to be associated with it, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. Next, we'd like to recognize and salute the Mountain Rural Telephone Cooperative Corporation of West Liberty. This business has helped students from Bath, Elliott, Morgan, Menifee, and Wolf counties. They've invested $250,000 since 1988 to help 68 different students. The cooperative's chairman of its board, Mr. Otto Ingram, his wife Ruby, and his manager, Mr. Danny McKenzie, and his wife Sandra are here today. Mr. Jimmy Jones, board member, and his wife Teresa, and board member Lonnie Click are also present. I'd like for Mr. Ingram and Mr. McKenzie to come forward.
Well, we'd like to thank the university very much, and we accept this award on behalf of the 12,000 members that Mountain Rural Telephone has. As was said, we serve the counties of Menifee, Morgan, Wolf, and Elliott, of course, with Bath. And we are a cooperative. You don't know what a cooperative is. We are owned by our members. And we take the business of being a cooperative very seriously. And we think we have more to do to serve our members than just providing the telephone service. And we are very active in every organization that we can. And we appreciate the opportunity that Moorhead has offered to us to get involved with the education of some of our people. As a matter of fact, we are just now into the 5th year. We're graduating several young people, and we have hired one of our graduates as an accountant. So we take it very seriously to help in this program, and not only monetarily do we get involved with young people in our area, but we encourage our employees to be Sunday school teachers and little league coaches, and get involved in any way they can. And we really appreciate, again, the opportunity that you've allowed us to serve you.
We have another special guest with us today, and that's Dan Lacey, who's here representing National Honor. And Dan always comes to us, and we certainly enjoy when he comes, because he brings something.
progress here. And it's my pleasure on behalf of the Ashland Oil Foundation, John Hall, our chairman, and Judy Thomas, the chairman of the board of the foundation, to present to Moorhead this check in the amount of $75,000. Dan is a very special person to us in the Alumni Hall of Fame. He has been recognized many times. He is also one of our fellows as an individual, he and his wife. And he leaned over to me. I've gotten to know Dan quite well since I came. He's one of the first people I met here out in the community, and one that I really valued his opinion, his advice. He said, Ron, he said, I want to tell a story on you. Can I tell him? And I said, well, Dan, I don't know if you can do that or not. So I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to take your story away from you.
You got my check.
I got your check. Bonnie and I visited he and his wife before the Marshall football game. Bonnie just got back from Cyprus. We were going to play a tennis match with the president of Marshall and a ringer he found to play with him. He was about 32 years old, fast as lightning, and good. And we had a great match. We lost, and we were humble and all that. But we went back to the home, and I was taking a shower to change clothes to go to the football game, and I realized I didn't bring my underwear. Now, I didn't know him that well at that point in time. But I sent Bonnie out to see if he just had an extra pair that might fit me. And he did. And I told him I'd return them to him, and I'd return them to him clean. And he could have it. But Bonnie, supposed to be with Bonnie, she ran across these boxer shorts that we have here on campus that we just stocked up on that says Moorhead State on. So we sent him a Moorhead State boxer shorts. Now what I want to tell you, Dan, for $300,000 a year, I'll send you shorts every week.
That not take very long. Before Paul comes up and joins me, I'm going to play a couple of solo tunes for you. The first one, I was going to play April Showers, but there's also a song called April Snow. Maybe I should play that. But I think I'll play April Showers, and we were sort of given a hint that we should play something about money. So I'm going to play April Showers, and I'm also going to play Pennies from Heaven.
esteemed colleague, Paul Taylor. We're going to play a little duet for you today. This is in a little more classical vein. It's a waltz by Schubert, right? March by Schubert. In C major. I don't know the opus number, but it wouldn't make any difference anyway. But it's a march in C.
Thank you, Jay and Steve. We have such a wonderful Department of Music, and they are such fine representatives of that. I'm going to talk a little bit about that Department of Music in a moment, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity as a commercial for them a little later, but I'm going to come back to you all in just a second. This has been a wonderful day for me and Bonnie. It's our first Founders Day, and we're kind of in the middle of all the festivities with this particular occasion at lunchtime, and we have another fine occasion this evening, of course the ceremony this morning, and the opportunity to meet so many of our retirees this morning at breakfast. I met one of our retirees this morning, and I was amazed that in the preceding few days, or the days before this, I had been over in West Liberty and speaking with a group of alums, and a name came from them as a person who had made a significant difference in their life. And they said the name of someone. It didn't mean anything to me at the time because I really don't know that many of our retirees. And lo and behold, this morning I had an opportunity to meet this person. It's the first time I think he's been back on our campus in about 30 years. He came here in 1943, and I'd like for him to stand up and be recognized. Dr. Nolan Fowler. Dr. Fowler? There are so many others that I could point out, but it's amazing how things start fitting together in this wonderful part of the country. Well, two judges, I mean, that's something. Two judges come up here. One thing I learned about Kentucky, there's a lot of judges in Kentucky. I know we got two different types of judges, and two were here, but you two fine gentlemen, thank you for the work you do. I know the work on these boards is gratifying to you as individuals, and it certainly means something to us here at institutions and the many students that you have provided help for in this part of the country. And it's really true that private work, when General Wellman was speaking this morning about some of the basic values that we should have, I think it's people like you who take that value and keep it through your life and work as volunteers in these organizations, and we certainly do appreciate that. And Dan, I certainly want you to convey to John Paul and Judy Thomas and others in your company leadership, Ashland Oil is really a model for all large corporations to follow, and $1 million for this institution is so important over time, and you have continued, your corporation has continued to be not only generous to us, but generous to many other causes, and I certainly want you to carry back our best wishes to them. You're a very special group here today, and we're going to honor some of you who have joined rather an elite club. If you'll give me at least a minute or two of presidential privilege, I'd like to at least put things in context that makes what you do so important to us. Not too many years ago, a young person could come here and they paid for about 1/5 of what it would cost to educate them. All of us know what this country is going through in terms of our economy, and no one knows more than our fine legislators who try to help us. But I understand the problems that they are in, because now, because of the erosion of the economy and the lack of funds that have been available in our state, it takes about 1 out of every $3 now come from that young person who comes here to try to better themselves and to become a productive member of our society. That means that these gifts and the efforts of people like yourselves who give and who ask others is so important, because national statistics show that only 4 people out of 100 will give to the academic purposes of an institution. 4 out of 100. You're a very select group and a very important group. I am not shy as your president about asking. I have an old adage, you can't ask if you don't give. I believe in giving and I believe in asking. And I think as Bonnie and I continue our presidency, and it really is our presidency at this institution, you will notice that I am not shy about asking for involvement and asking those who can afford it to give. because I can think of no better investment than the young people who come here and how they'll serve this state and this country in years to come. Jay and Steve, fine example. Paul, okay, Steve, Paul. You now are Steve. Paul. Sitting behind him in church just about every day. I don't know who he is. These people represent really some of what the best we have to offer here in terms of our curriculum. And Bonnie and I noticed when we first came here, we looked out at our marching band, and we've been at many institutions and have been in some large institutions with fancy band uniforms and all this other marching. But we didn't find a better set of musicians and a more precise marching group than we saw. And that kind of whetted our appetites, and we started going to all these free things that those wonderful people offer over in the Duncan Recital Hall. And we saw that it didn't stop with the marching band. It went on and on and on in terms of excellence and preparation of our young people. But what was so sad when we started talking and getting to know our faculty and staff is that this fine organization, because of what affects us in terms of budget cuts, etc., we can't even export our young people out into our region to show their talents. We can't even put band uniforms on our young people who are marching. And it's not because we don't want to, it's not because you don't want us to. It's because we have to live with the reality of budgets and the reality of what we can afford to do. Well, Bonnie, bless her heart, she decided, by gosh, let's do something about that. And I'm going to announce it today. And we're going to have a gala right here in this building on May the 8th. And I hope you write that date down. May the 8th at 7 o'clock. It's going to be our first big-time, fun-time fundraiser for our Department of Music. We're going to transform this place into a luxury liner. And we're going to have all over this building 5 venues of music featuring our fine professional teaching staff and some of their alums who are coming back with professional musicians and some of our fine senior and junior performers. It's going to be a great night of fun. And we're not going to be able to get invitations out to everyone, so I'm giving you a personal invitation. I'm going to tell you what it costs, so you know. There are going to be 2 prices of tickets. There's going to be a $50 per head ticket that you go to the AAC and you get yourself a passport, and they're going to take your picture. And they're going to have a little Dixieland over there for you and some eats. And you're going to get on a launch, which might look like a bus, and you're going to drive over here to really, really one of the most fun evenings that you could ever have. Now, some of you who would like to skip that and come directly to the captain's house, you can come to the captain's house for $125 a head. You can wear your tuxedo that you've been dying to get out of mothballs and wear, or if you don't want to wear it, just come on just so you buy your ticket. We're going to have a wonderful time there with those of you who imbibe with a little bit of champagne and wine, but we're also going to have a classical harpist there and some very good food, and we'll stay there about an hour and then come over here for the rest of the fun. So if you're interested in that, you want to do that, you write that date down and you call 783-2022 and we'll get you lined up and make sure that because we can only take so many. And we want to make sure you're not left out, that's for sure. So much for an announcement. Now, and I told you, I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid to ask at all. What we're going to be doing today is to induct people as fellows of this institution. And I don't know exactly how this is going to be done because I have been told, Larry, you're going to do that. So much for remarks from your president. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your continued support and interest.
One of Dr. Ingram's first official acts upon arriving on the campus was to arrange for he and Bonnie to join the MSU Fellows. He does believe in leading by example, and he doesn't mind asking. He has thoroughly involved himself in the cultivation and identification of alumni and other friends, business people across our service region, to try to increase their awareness of MSU's need for private support. And several new fundraising efforts have been undertaken, as one of these mentioned at the beginning, and he will be initiating more under his leadership. So first I'd like to honor and welcome Bonnie and Dr. Eagle as new fellows to Oregon State University.
We need to honor her. She writes the check.
Other new fellows that we'd like to recognize and honor at this time are Dr. and Mrs. Frederick Mueller, married, retired music faculty member. Ray, can you come up, or would you like us to go over there?
We got a learned artist that he'll say it in French today.
Mesdames, Messieurs, je vous en prie, on est très heureux, je suis très heureux pour recevoir cet instrument différent de mon façon. I thank you so much for all, for being here and for permitting us to be here to be honored by you. And we in turn honor you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There's a smile cost extra.
Next, we'd like to recognize and honor Mr. Thomas Sterling and wife, Martha Hensley. Mr. Sterling is chair of the Department of Arts. Come forward. Next, we'd like to recognize Mr. Stephen Lee from Georgetown, Kentucky, 1977 MSU grad. Dr. Wheeler is the MSU faculty
congratulate you for your help.
Thank you very much for being with us. We hope you've had as much fun as we've had. Have a pleasant day. Thank you for coming. Bye.
Certainly a pleasure to be together this evening to celebrate the contributions of our best, our very best. We'll take care of that a little later on after we share in this meal. Here to ask the blessings of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is Lloyd State Alumni Association Director Ernie Begley.
You know, I think it's very appropriate to mention when I was in high school a few years ago, The Sound of Music came out, a very beautiful musical. Saw it 6 times. And during the musical, one of the main songs was Climb Over the Mountain. And the lyrics went something like this: climb over a mountain, forge over a stream, follow every rainbow until you find your dream. A dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life or as long as you live. I think if you look at your program and the accomplishments of our inductees tonight, that song fits them very well. Shall we pray?
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time that we can come together and honor these inductees. They have truly climbed those mountains and forged those streams. We are very proud of them. And without your help, we know they could not accomplish those dreams. We ask forgiveness for our many sins. We ask, I thank you to you for all the things you have done for us, the small things we forget to thank you for. And of course the big things, especially your Son that you gave for our sins. Again, we thank you for this evening, and we ask for this food, for the blessing, the
nourishment of our bodies. In His holy name, amen.
With us this evening are not only our guests of honor, but others for whom introductions are appropriate. This will be short and sweet and you can eat. Platform guests include Director of Alumni Affairs, Executive Vice President of Morehead State University Alumni Association, Bill Redwine, and his wife Suzette. The only person living or dead who could possibly have tolerated me for 19 years, my wife Jo. Well, the President and First Lady of Morehead State University, Ron and Bonnie Evelyn, and my colleague on the Alumni Board, Ernie Beckley, and his wife Julia. Audience guests we have with us this evening are Board of Regents member John Rosenberg. John, if you'd stand, be greeted. Is Shondo with us tonight? He's usually late. Looks like he's very late tonight. Tonight I'd like to recognize 4 individuals who played a very important role at the university and who very seldom are recognized at these gatherings. I'd like to recognize Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. John Philly. Please rise. Vice President for Administrative and Fiscal Services, Porter Daly. Vice President for Student Life and Dean of Students, Mike Mency. The Vice President for University Advancement, Keith Capers. I'd like for all the alumni board members who are with us this evening to rise and be greeted by our guest this evening. Now you can start it. And I noticed a couple of latecomers that came in. You greet Senator Walter Blevins. My first words about him were prophetic. Shondo Oklahoma. The successes of the Alumni Association have been tremendously rewarding for those of us involved with it. Active membership has increased over 480% in the last 5 years. Our numbers are constantly improving. Just last month, we enjoyed our largest increase for a 1-month period ever with 712 new members. That's new members. None of this could have been even remotely possible without a brilliant technician and one of the top junior executives in the university community. It is indeed a privilege to be associated with this gentleman, and I'm proud to introduce to you our Executive Vice President of the Morehead State University Alumni Association, Bill Redwine.
Sonny started making those comments, my wife went down and he said, "Who's he introducing?" Thank you, Sonny, for all those kind words. It's been a lot of fun the last 5 years with lots of growth that we've experienced in the Alumni Association. And I receive a lot of the credit for it because I'm out front and I'm the most visible member of our staff because of the virtue of the position. But none of the accomplishments that we've done, we've been nearly as successful without the great staff that I have. and I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce them to you. First of all is Tammy Jones, who is the Assistant Director of Alumni Relations. Tammy, you can stand. Pamela Foos, who is our Alumni Record Specialist and takes care of tracking all of the 45,000 plus records on our computer system in the alumni office. Pam. Malcolm Bigelow, who is our bulk mail clerk and coordinates the mailing of all the hundreds of pieces of mail you get from us throughout the course of the year. Malcolm processes about 500,000 pieces of mail annually through our office. So Malcolm Bigelow. Susan Proctor is with us tonight. She's not officially a member of our staff any longer because she's a full-time student now, but she's still a work study in our office. Susan? And Donna Cox, who serves as the Secretary in the Office of Alumni Relations and also the Secretary-Treasurer of the Alumni Association. It is truly an honor to present to you this evening 3 alumni of Morehead State University who have achieved very significant professional successes. All have gained substantial recognition for their contributions to their respective careers. Their selection for the Alumni Hall of Fame continues the tradition of recognizing those alumni who have achieved prominence in their community, their state, their profession, and the country. Without further ado, I present to you this year's honorees. Our first honoree graduated with distinction in 1961 with a bachelor's degree in elementary education. After teaching 4 years at the elementary level and serving as an elementary librarian for 3 years, she began her broadcast career as a utilization specialist for Kentucky Educational Television and steadily moved upward to Assistant Director of Education for Evaluation, Executive Assistant to the Executive Director, Director of Education, Director of Education Programming, and Deputy Executive Director of KET. She then moved to Columbia, South Carolina to become President and CEO of the Southern Educational Communications Association and founding Director of the Satellite Educational Resources Consortium. In 1988, she returned to Bluegrass State to become Executive Vice President of the KET Foundation and President of the KET Endowment. In 1991, she became Chief Operating Officer of KET, the Kentucky Network, and later that same year assumed her current duties as Executive Director of KET. She was the first and only female CEO of the National Organization of Public Broadcasting. She is the creator of the first national ITV satellite schedule, serving over 23 million students annually. She is the creator of SDRC, the first public broadcaster, Department of Education Interstate Consortium for Distance Learning, and founding director of the Organization of State Broadcasting Executives. She has served on various boards of directors, including Leadership Kentucky, Public Broadcasting Service, Mountain Laurel Festival, Southern Educational Communications Association, Satellite Educational Resources, Organization of State Broadcasting Executives, Kentucky Science and Technology Council, Lexington Junior Achievement, and has been delegate to the White House Conference on Children and Youth, just to name a few. She has served as a consultant to many state and national projects, has been included in Who's Who of American Colleges and Universities, Who's Who of American Women, and Who's Who of Finance and Industry. She received the 21st Century Award from America's Public Television Stations for SDCA services in 1992. Ladies and gentlemen, Virginia Haynes Fox.
Thank you, Sonny, Bill, Dr. Eaglin, distinguished guests. As those of you who know me know, I'm rarely at a loss for words. I am at a bit for a loss for words with this. The last time I was in the Krager room, well, I came back for Dr. Dorrance 80th birthday celebration. It's the first time I met Bill Redwine. And I realized then that young man was going to go far because I was late, I was harried, I had walked all the way from Boston, and here was this calm young man standing out front, just perfectly all right that I was late, and he just took care of me fully. The last time before that was to honor Carl Perkins. And I mentioned those two events only because I see Moorhead as such a linchpin of this entire region and this entire part of the state. I did a lot of thinking. I had a lot of time to think on the plane from Lincoln, Nebraska today about just what Moorhead had meant to me and how grateful I am to those of you. I believe it's the Founders Day. I see Louise Cole sitting there smiling. The Moorhead Fellows, those people who are willing to make available the margin of excellence that only private giving, corporate support, and real dedication can provide, so that young people like Jenny Fox and Harry Walker and Nan Ward and so many of you sitting in this room have the opportunity to get a superior education. Two people, probably three people who influenced me most at this university, and there were many, were, of course, Adrian and Nani. Adrian taught me about the GQ. He said the IQ is okay, but what you need, one of those convocations, remember those? Once a week, Button Auditorium. And, if you don't want to play our rules, there's a train going east and a train going west. And, but that GQ has held me in such good stead. And I feel especially full of gratitude and quotient tonight for all of you and for what Moorhead has meant and for what you do for this university. One of the other people was Norman Tant, who in his funny little audiovisual class, in which I never have yet had to change a light bulb in a projector in a dark room. Never in my career, I promise you. But I did that in Norman's class. But what he really gave me was a vision of what the application of technology could mean to education, to quality of life, and to economic development. And I kind of pledged myself to that, and when the opportunity availed itself and the state network began to emerge, went with it. I heard someone say recently that luck, and I've had a lot of it, that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And much of the preparation that I've had came from Moorhead, but it wasn't so much the knowledge that I gained, but the values, the attitudes, values and attitudes are the things that have held me in good stead and that make me so proud. To every Moorhead graduate that I meet, they're wonderful employees. I've got several on my staff. They're good bosses. Terry McBrayer is my board chairman. They're wonderful colleagues and civic workers. There are civic leaders all over this state: Dan Lacey, Glenn Leverage, George Stevens, Dick and Christy Robinson, Custer Reynolds, Mary Perry, on and on and on. The list of people who are helping make Kentucky a better place. I consider three institutions important in life, those being family, and I'm blessed to have my parents here tonight who attended Moorhead State University. My brother's also an alum. A very supportive husband. The second one, of course, is your church. The third are the teachers, professors, and professionals that you encounter through school life. I'm so grateful to all of them and to all of you. And I'm also so happy to have the Eaglins at the helm at Morehead State University. Adrian and Nani were like my parents. They're still like uncle and aunt to me. And it is so wonderful to see another couple come, take the helm, and grab the hearts of the people of this state and region. I thank all of you. I commend you, Ron and Donnie, on the job that you're doing. I thank you, Bill, and all of you.
Thank you, Jenny. Our next honoree is a native of Newport, Kentucky, who entered Morehead State University on a football and basketball scholarship, playing both sports under Coach Ellis Johnson. In September 1941, he enlisted in the United States Air Corps as an aviation cadet and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in March 1942 and assigned to a P-51 fighter group that joined the 8th Air Force in England in March 1943. At the ripe old age of 25, he was promoted to the rank of lieutenant colonel after being transferred to Augsburg, Germany. In December 1945, he returned to Fort Knox, where he was discharged and placed on inactive duty in a reserve status. In March 1946, he re-entered Morehead State University to complete his degree. Following his graduation, he applied for and was accepted as a special agent of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Following 14 weeks of extensive training by the FBI at their academy in Quantico, Virginia, he was assigned to the El Paso, Texas office of the FBI, then to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and on to Yakima, Wisconsin, and then to the Chicago, Illinois office in September 1948. In 1953, he was sent to Des Plaines, Illinois, to open an office that was to be responsible for the investigation of approximately 200 federal violations under the jurisdiction of the FBI in the north, northwestern, and western suburbs of Chicago, as well as the O'Hare International Airport that was under construction at the time. This territory served by his office had a population of several million people and became one of the Bureau's largest resident agencies in the United States. He was senior agent in charge of the Des Plaines office for over 24 years, and at the time of his retirement, the office was composed of 16 special agents and 5 secretaries. Following his retirement, he and his wife moved to Skidaway Island off the coast of Savannah, Georgia. On June 12, 1986, he was inducted into the Northern Kentucky Athletic Directors Hall of Fame for his accomplishments and awards in basketball and football at Newport High School. Ladies and gentlemen, Harry Walker.
Bill, where did you get all that stuff? President Eglin, Mrs. Eglin, fellow alumni and guests, it's great being here and great receiving this award. And it's one of the greatest times of my life. Sharing this award will be my wife, Ruth, who attended Morehead in 1938 for a year. I did not know her, other than to maybe speak to her every once in a while as we passed. Little did I know that we were to be married 8 years later on New Year's Eve, 1946 in El Paso, Texas. So we have had a very happy relationship for the last 46 years. And my daughter, Barry, is here tonight. She has her degree and her master's degree at the University of Kentucky, and also a degree in interior designing. And she's putting all of those degrees together to be a house mother for her little 6-year-old daughter, Barry, house mother, a Brownie Scout leader, and several other things that go along with being a mother. Barry and her husband, Jim, live in Barrington, Illinois, along with the 6-year-old daughter, Mary Jo. Also sharing this honor with me is my sister, Betty Johnson, who was married to Sam Johnson, who was born and raised here in Moorhead and also received a degree at Moorhead. So every time you turn around, in our family, it's a little bit of Kentucky. I feel honored in getting this fine award, and I want to thank everybody who had a part in awarding the award. Looking down through life, I've had 2 jobs. One with the 8th Air Force in England during World War II, and the other with the FBI for upward of 31 years. I feel that I've accomplished a great deal in both positions, having achieved the rank of Lieutenant Colonel at a very young age, as well as being placed in a responsible position by my old boss, J. Edgar Hoover. Everything about the work was interesting. If I had it to do over again, I wouldn't change one iota of it. I'm always glad to get back to Moorhead. It's just a great feeling to attend here and to see some of the people I've known in the past. I want to share also this honor with some people who drove down today from northern Kentucky. June Lepton, whose husband was a scout for the Cincinnati Reds. Charlotte Alderman, who was a Miss Kentucky several years ago and a runner-up for Miss America Atlantic City. Also, Charlotte appeared as one of the leads in the old George White Scandal, which was a well-known stage show back in several years ago on Broadway. Also with us is Janet Euling, whose husband was a well-known high school and college referee in both football and basketball. And Frank, the husband, worked both the high school finals of both football and the high school finals of basketball here in the state. Looking around, there's Frank Robinson, who I went to school with here, who came over from Lexington. Frank was a very fine football player during this period, as well as I ran into Custer Reynolds. I had a hat on, and he said, "Harry, I didn't know you with the hat on, but I noticed your walk." During my years at Moorhead, I had knee injuries in both football and basketball, which made it necessary here the last 5 or 6 years to get 2 total knee replacements. I still feel good and still hit a little golf ball around on the island that I live. So everything. I want to express my appreciation again. It's great being with all you people, and if you ever get down our way, call me up. I'd like to show you that little area where we live. Savannah, Georgia is just a beautiful place. Again, I want to thank you, and again, it was just a great pleasure.
Last but certainly not least, our third honoree completed the first of 3 degrees at MSU in 1957. She's been a teacher at the high school level in Boone County, Bath County, Kentucky, and at Breckenridge School here on the MSU campus, and in Dade City, Florida. She's coached tennis, track, swimming, golf, and cheerleading. She was a graduate assistant at the University of Kentucky, was director of women's physical education at Moorhead State, and an associate professor of health and physical education at Murray State University, where she was also a women's volleyball coach and worked closely with women's track and basketball. She taught science and coached junior high basketball and track and field at Salt Lick School, where she was also an assistant football coach. She's played in many sports that she has coached, including field hockey, basketball, and softball. She was a member of the Murray Aces state championship team. In the field of athletic officiating, she distinguished herself as tough but fair on the basketball court and was selected to officiate the first and third girls' high school state tournament. On the volleyball court, she traveled both the high school and college circuit with her officiating partner, her son Jimmy, who was a rated official at 10 years of age and was considered the youngest rated official of a major sport in the nation. She is past president and life member of the Kentucky Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, a life member of the Kentucky Girls Sports Association. She's presently serving as president of Psi Chapter of Delta Kappa Gamma, the International Society for Outstanding Women Educators. She's helped pave the way in promoting girls and women's sports in Kentucky by holding basketball weekends prior to Kentucky High School Athletic Association sanction. She conducted many basketball and track and field clinics for high school girls and coaches. She has testified at Senate hearings on behalf of girls basketball and was one of 2 certified women basketball officials in Region 1, was the only certified woman basketball official in Region 16, and was the first woman to officiate basketball in several regions in Kentucky. Last month, she was inducted into the Kentucky High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Nan Ward.
Distinguished guests, Jenny, you might have flown from Lincoln, Nebraska, but I have to share with y'all my days between Salt Lick and Moorhead. I believe I've topped it. Early this morning, my good friend Dr. Shirley Gish, who's in the communications department, called and said, "I think you're suffering from communication syndrome." I said, "What is that?" She said, "It means you're going to make a speech and you're nervous." I said, "You got that right. I couldn't hit the ground with my hat if I had one on." Later this afternoon, Sheila Murphy Ryan, who many of you know is one of the most outstanding athletes in our Breckenridge, who's back here with her husband Dana, stopped by and she said, "What goes around comes around." Said, "You remember when you told us if you don't have butterflies, you can't get in the game?" I thought, boy, now that wasn't the end of it. Monday, I'm going to have to go have some minor surgery. And I have a cousin who's a surgeon and an OB gynecologist, and he's over here also from Florence, Kentucky. So I'm going down there to have a surgery. Well, they said, "You have to come to Florence and get all these pre-surgery tests." And I said, "I can't. I've got this big dinner at Moorhead, and I got some stuff Saturday and Sunday. I can't come to Florence." So I said, "We have a good hospital here." So I came up earlier in the week, got blood tests and so forth. So about 9 o'clock this morning, Dr. Daugherty's office called and said, "We want to do some more extensive testing." Said, "We need for you to come down here and get a TVP. Well, I didn't know what that was, but I said, "I can't come down there." I said, "What's wrong with Dr. Daugherty? He's coming up here." So I said, "I'll go to Moorhead and get it." Well, anyway, we got all that lined out. So I started, she called me right back. She said, "Also, go get a fleet number 6. I thought, uh-oh. So anyway, I started to Moorhead, got there at Green, and this old man pulled out of 211 in front of me, and I sideswiped it. Had a wreck. Here I didn't go straight up to start with. Had a wreck, sideswiped this old man, pulled the side out of my car, tore the front end out of his truck. But I thought, fine, nobody's hurt, we'll get the vehicles fixed. So I came on to Moorhead. Got the business taken care of here, went back, I got my little fleet kit, started over this. Now, I don't know what CVC is, and I don't know what TVP, but I know what castor oil solution is. And I'll guarantee you 2 doctors, so forth. Back a couple of years ago, when they were honoring Louise and everything, she said, well, I don't know what the hell we're doing all this for. I just did my job. I said, Louise, what is wrong with you? I know what she's talking about. And it dawned on me, that's what I told Bill when he called. I said, if you talk to Dr. Louise, I'm going to pass it on her. I said, I just did my job. Now, when I was at Moorhead, I was not known as a researcher. Some of you did, you'll probably think I was not a very good administrator. But I do hope that I'm being honored here tonight as being somebody who took time for the students. And I want to share some examples. Some are good and some are bad and some are ugly. A few years ago, we went to the State Health and Physical Education meeting, and this real nice-looking young man came up to me and hugged me, and he said, I'll love you forever. I said, I can handle that. He said, you pulled me out of a coal mine. And he went on. I said, and who was that? She said, that's Dr. Lonnie Davis. Dr. Lonnie Davis now is from a family that every one of them in the family worked down in the coal mines. My husband and I went to Warfield High School on a recruiting trip. And we got a scholarship for him. He came here, went on. He's now the head of the physical education department at Eastern Kentucky University. When I came back here with my doctorate, two couples came over and said, we want to come over and we have a master's oils tomorrow. Would you quiz us? And I said, sure. So they came over and I asked them everything I could ask, and they knew the material. But we were told the next day they'd failed their master's orals. And I said, what's going on? Said they can't talk right. They don't use good grammar. This old boy said, I know it last night. I was talking with Jack Latham, and I loved him because he goes out. We put our jobs on the line, and we said, this is not right. We can't expect students to come out of the mountains just for the weekend or just for the summer and change the way they're talking. So we finagled around, and those people took their exams the next day again and passed them. Now this fella is Bob Pritchard, who's just finished a wonderful 10-year superintendent of Lawrence County Schools. Now this worried me through the years. Did I do this right? Well, again, Shirley Gitch asked me one time to go to Berea to an Appalachian Festival. I said, well, I won't go down there. I won't go see a plow and a hoe and a quilt. That's what I grew up with. Where do you think I'm from? But we went down there, and we saw the premiere showing of the life of Prentice Williams. And Prentice Williams is from Blaine, Kentucky, and he's known as the father of Appalachian literature. And he went to New York University, and they said, you talk funny. And I think he probably said, I know it too. He said, that's okay. He said, I'm from Appalachian, I'm proud of it. And I'll talk any way I want to. So those were two examples. One time I was head of the women's PE department and went back early from lunch. Some of you remember Annette Terry. Annette Terry is a big old black girl, came lumbering down that hall. She's lumbering. She said, oh, I swear to God, come down here and said, this girl's a dime. I thought, well, what was that? So go down to the bathroom, and there's a girl, one of our senior majors, sitting in the bathroom, and she thought she was dying, and come to find out she was pregnant and not married. Now, back then, there was a bus going east and a bus going west, and Jenny said, if you were here and pregnant and not married, you better get on with us. And I thought, what am I going to do? I've got this girl's whole future right here in the palm of my hand, whatever decision I make. So it was about a month before graduation, she was one of our top majors. So I called right quickly, and I called Russell Kirk. I said, Russell, come down here quick. Don't let anybody know where you're coming to. Had that old station wagon he used as an ambulance. He brought that car in there and nobody saw us. Except Annette, and I threatened her life. And I said, Russ, take this girl down to the doctor and leave her. Don't tell anybody where you've been, where you got her, who she is, anything. So he took her and left her. And the dean of students called that afternoon, or dean of women, she said, did Mr. Kirk pick up a girl down in your building? I said, I don't know, it's not my day to watch him. That girl went ahead and graduated. She's been one of the finest educators we've had in Eastern Kentucky. That little unborn baby graduated from Moorhead not too long ago as an honor student.
enjoyed it about the same time. Now, this was a real experience. I said, put every black kid in my class, but I don't want anybody northeast of Ashland. This is all true story. Jerry Gore was one of the first black students I had, and we're still friends today. And after I came back later, if I'd had some black kid that was not doing their work or having problems and so forth, I said, do you know Mr. Gore? Yes. I said, go over and see him and tell him I sent you. He said, oh, Lord, have mercy, they don't know, let's throw them to the lion. We just couldn't communicate with the kids from Jersey till we sat down and learned how. Had a little boy, some of you will remember his name, Richard DiGiacomo, little Italian. And he came, Coach Allen and I were sharing an office, and he came down there, and he threw the office spit on me I've ever had thrown, and he said, you were nice to me, you talked to me, and you gave me a D. Now, here we go. So he just stood off spit. Coach Allen said, son, get out of here, it better not take you too many steps till you learn how to act. Well, we went around, I kept talking to him. And when he went home Thanksgiving, he brought back 2 quarts of his mother's homemade Italian lasagna sauce. And he gave it to me, and we didn't have a lot of lasagna and salt lick at the time. I didn't even know what it was about. I said, Dick, do you know how to make this, whatever this stuff is you're talking about? He said, yeah. I said, can you really cook? Yeah. So he and his roommate came to my house. They cooked all afternoon. They went to Mount Sterling, got wine. I invited Peggy Clark, Randolph Richardson up, and we sat and ate lasagna, and we talked about this. What's the difference in living in Jersey and living here? So that made a little progress. I think I found out that the kids up there, in this area, we trust everybody until you prove untrustworthy. Those kids didn't trust anybody until we could merit their trust, so we were at a crossroads. Had another fellow that, after I got so I couldn't communicate with him, named Bob Cipriano, and Bob was a fine major. He needed to go out and do his search for his master's thesis, and I said, well, I need to travel in the region, so I took him, because he couldn't afford to go. So folks Sandy Hook somewhere, I said, go run in there and get us an RC and a moving pipe. He came running back to the car and said, go on, go on. I said, go on. I said, where's the box? He said, go on. I said, what's the matter with you? Well, what happened? He went to this little country store and asked for soda. And he came here in his little box of baking soda back. In my class, so we had the opportunity to travel a lot. But all the foreign students I learned, unless they get an A or a B, they will come in and they say, I do not understand English. Well, I would always say to them, I do not understand English either because I'm from Salt Lick. They didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't know what they were talking about, but we got along. Well, I was thrilled when I decided to leave Moorhead. And I think I went to Murray because all my wardrobe was blue and gold. School was out and summer school hadn't started, but the honor students, the officers of Sigma Delta came back. Now, one came back from Boston, one from Northern Ohio. They weren't local. They came back at their own expense to ask Dr. Dorn to try to get me to study. And that was an honor for me. And at that same time, one night, knocked on the door, 3 good old boys were standing there. And they were way back in the mountains. And I said, well, come in. I had them in class. They were barely making it. And they said, we don't want you to leave here. And said, we know who's giving you some problems. And said, here's what we want to do. Said, we want to go get us about 3 sticks of dynamite. Oh, no. Get that thought out of your mind. Now, the message was wrong. But the love was still there. Now, where did I learn all this time for the students' business? Adrian Dorn, Warren Lappin, Roger Wilson, Henrietta Amen, Marguerite Bishop, Nona Bess Watson, Bobby Laughlin, Sonny Allen, and I could go on and on and on. A lot of you folks that are John, a lot of y'all are in the room, Jim Powell, and you could go ahead. Now, they took the time. Ann and I were the first students that Madonna Dorn met. Dr. Dorn was being interviewed. We went popping down the campus in a sweatshirt and blue jeans, and she stopped us.
And I often thought about that. She said, "Oh, Adrian, don't we have a mission field here?" And do you all remember she would have these magnificent teas? And she would get us what I call diamonds in the rough to come over and serve. I mean, she was having teas for Lady Bird Johnson, and she was president of the State Women's Club. How that woman ever did that, I don't know. We didn't know if we was serving Oregon horse goobers. From what she did, that's why I'm such a cultured lady today. All these people that I have contact with that took the time to care and took the time for us. And I don't mean to preach a sermon, but I hope you folks that are here now will forget the committee meetings. That was what's aggravating about university teaching. You have committee meetings that don't amount to anything. Take that time with the kids. And I hope that some way that I have passed this on to some of those kids to just simply take the time, because if we could save one kid, it was worth it. Thank you very much.
Mercy. And I thought I had fun in the 70s. The 1991-92 school year was an exciting year to be a member of the university family. We graduated our largest class. Giving continued to increase. Active membership in the Alumni Association kept its meteoric rise going. We hired a new basketball coach. But beyond a shadow of a doubt, the one most exciting thing that happened to us in that school year was the hiring of our new president. Please welcome with me the 12th president of Morehead State University, Dr. Ron Eagle.
I usually don't mind standing and talking in front of a group, but I better sit down. Nan and Jenny and Harry, congratulations to you. I know it's a great evening for you, it's a great evening for us. Nan, one of the things I learned, and I'm not from the mountains, and I don't speak quite that way, but I did, and I am, trying to learn as much as I can. And I think you know that. I put about 9,000 miles on a car with Keith Capus. That's an award in itself. We have visited just numerous alumni over the last 9 months. Today has been a very, very special time for Bonnie and myself. And it's really, when you hired us both. She works hard, if not harder than I do. But this day has been very special for me. I had the opportunity to meet so many of our retired faculty and staff. We honored a distinguished person in our community that has served this institution. We talked with, this afternoon at lunch, those who not only give up their time, but give other means to us to provide the quality that we want. And then tonight to talk to you, the alumni, and those of you who are joining High Cotton, as we call it, where I came from, a very distinguished group of people who have been honored in this Hall of Fame over the years. Nana, I want to direct this to you because I think you hit at the heart of really what the perception of Morehead is and will still be. We're a caring place. We're a place where people will listen, they will take the time, and take the extra step. I've said this since the first day I have arrived on this campus. I mean it with all of my heart. And I believe that this faculty, even though times have changed and we have gotten larger and there are more demands placed on these young people when they leave us more than were placed upon me when I graduated in 1962 and some of you when you graduated. But we can't lose sight of that one value, and that is to take time to listen and to be friends and to be good guiders of these young people. And that will continue here, because I believe our faculty wants it to continue here, and our staff. Secondly, though, this new world that these young people are going to, I've been concerned that we have been a conduit away from Eastern Kentucky, that people have come here and they've used this as a way to leave the mountains and look for opportunity. I think it's important for us as an institution to work with this area to help provide opportunities so we don't lose these excellent young people who come to us. And we're going through a reemergence here, and many talks, and you as alum, I hope, will support us in this. We want caring, excellent teaching faculty who show continuous scholarship to make sure we're teaching the right stuff. And also we want to organize ourselves to help this region provide opportunity so we do not lose these young people. It's so exciting to me to listen to Jenny and to Harry and to Nan talk about their experiences. I hope that 10 years and 15 and 20 years from now, we'll have people coming forth still feeling that same strength and that same warmth for this institution. And I'm going to call upon all of you as alums of this institution to help Bonnie and me and this Alumni Association, this faculty and staff, to keep Moorhead on the right trail, and that's to serve Eastern Kentucky and the people around here. We're very pleased to be here tonight. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here and share some time with you.
The entertainment this evening is a unique event that is indeed a marvel to witness. With us tonight are faculty members Dr. Paul Taylor. Paul Taylor.
Well, he's making fun of me. I know you're my boss, but I feel I owe an apology, Paul. I introduced Paul 3 times as Steve today. But as Bonnie knows, I know a Steve Taylor, and I'm just getting old, and I just put the wrong two names.
Dr. Paul Taylor, Joe Sarter, and member of the Alumni Association Board of Directors, my colleague, Joyce Lemaster.
while Joe is getting things ready, I'll say a thing or two about our group. Our group this evening is probably different from others that you have experienced. We believe that the arts have a strong effect on each other. Our concern is with their interaction as we tonight blend the art of painting, music, and poetry. The 14 poems used as the catalyst for this production are related to the mountain motif. Included in this group are poems by Debbie Runyon, Ronald Cox, Al Stewart, Helen Price Stacy, James Still, Robert Penn Warren, Lily Chapin, Jim Wayne Miller, and Jesse Stewart. The musical compositions are by McDowell, Bach, Brahms, Chopin, Debussy, and Oginski. The poems, the painting, and the musical compositions are spatial arts. The reading of the poems, the playing of the music, and the painting in progression illustrate the arts as they exist in time. Robert Frost said, "It is the speaking tone of voice, somehow entangled in the words, and fastened to the page for the ear of the imagination that gives the poem life." The temporal quality of the arts will never be exactly the same again, but after the temporal has passed, the spatial quality remains in the form of the poem on the printed page, the musical score, and the painting on canvas. Too, that you had your comic relief before we came on the program. But Dan Moore is excellent at that. I don't know who could be better. Painter has such equipment to be concerned with that we in the literary arts and the musical arts either, I suppose, do not have to be concerned with. saw their wanton beauty. But now that I have lived in wasteland, I return to the hills that seem as mountains, and rush to their heights, breathing them, holding them, wrapping them round my form as though they were a woolly shawl. And I am comforted, for the hills guard me as a mother protects her child. I am safe and filled with secrets that the hills whisper to me. And I cry for the sheer lushness of their greenery as I reach to touch the tree's nutty texture. Oh, Kentucky Hill, may I never, never leave you again, but for short spans of time. For you are a part of me, my heritage, my life, my strength. And it is here, within these valleys, I am complete. with 3 umbrellas standing, our bodies loiter. But our thoughts rest in valley and cool, wander in new paths. We think of leaves keeping bathtubs or insects, then draining themselves with a turn of wind. Of flowers, shaking free of dust and breath, swaying to some tune we have not heard. Of thought, climbing the lattice air to feed his virgin kindred, and of how the sun makes in hiding gives a darker hue to shadows weaving terraform patterns on us. And of time, loose from hands, wheels, springs, leading us to express wonder, find ourselves a small part of some mystery. Or alone, and waking to hidden voices in the night. In still night, the night still knitting noise, and rabbit sounds, like step bells, in a muffled grip, blossoming on dark hills, strange with sleep. And calls, and listens for his father's voice, and finally heard, as if also from a dark place, and echoing from afar, a farther father's voice, but heard nothing familiar as the sound of day. At the center of acres of snow whiteness, the snags of oak reared, black and old, bound, cracked. Topmost twigs, pen strokes, tangle or self-records in ice blue of sky. A crow on the highest black rail and sky-thrust support uttered its cry to the immense distance. I hear the cry landscape now reduplicate Snow White, the one in which I once stood. At its center too, the black nag stands. A crow gleams there, upthrust against the blue sky. I can make no answer to the cry from the immense distance. My eyes fill with tears. I have lived long without being able to make adequate communication. Dried to sand in summer, and purple martins flock to cold glory, moldy stained feathers, which fall like blackened snow on clapboard roofs of hill townsmen biding eternal time. And men here wait as mountains long have waited. I had forgotten how a mountain path the trail fox, and how it could weave in and out, cradling feathered ferns, nestled closely as it would. I had forgotten how a mountain path could be alive, how the pine pushes upward, dazzling wind and sun to meet its own horizontal spine. Today, a mountain path, a gnarled old tree, returned to me. It is the measure of man's heart again. No one should stretch that yardstick to include ill will, when only gentleness is his, who tends his cross with inner quietude. He is of land, and land gives him a strength to fashion hardness for a thin disguise against the outside ones who gauge by length of boundary lines, stopwise and cabin size. All mountain people wear this hard-eyed crutch that serves them well when strangers question ways generations old, ways hill men know, much as did their mountain kin on other days. Hill men are wise and gentle ones, who wield a hoe in sweet content, field after field. but now the house is still and cold with prayer. Unless this was a grave, I look for another grave on New Found Hill. Rain rumbles on the roof, splashes from the eaves, and foams and bubbles into tubs below the spout. The barn, the shingles on the crib drip black with rain. Greenhouse mosses grow, frog green, and Hannah's top is lost in it. Real Sam climbed Hanlon with his hounds last night. The footman whispered something along the top, and wouldn't go beyond the lantern light, and trembled on the leaves. Then he came home. I trust the hounds. They know what made them stop, what waits there in the mist on Hanlon's top. I'll stand lake, grind in a thick being on these hills, being one with the Father, deep into the shadows, one with the newborn fold, the lumbering off growing green beach swabs to fill, one with the destined feet of man climbing and ascending, and one with death rising to bloom again. I cannot go. Being off these hills, I cannot pass beyond. Closer look after the dinner is over. This marvelous painting. When we do a program of this kind, I can hardly wait to see what Joe had this time. It's always different. It's always beautiful.
Not too close.
Once again, the Moorhead Arts Trio, Joyce LeMaster, Dr. Paul Taylor, and Joe Sark. What a great day it's been to be here where we all came from. Fill us with pride once again, the pride that we all share that no one else has, eagle pride. It's been a pleasure this evening. Good night. God be with you till we meet again.
We had a good time. Excuse me.